Welcome to Seth Farbman on Podcast, from startup to stock exchange.
This is not going to be rah-rah, let's go public, let's raise capital. This is how to launch the greatest startup that ever was. We're in a time now that I just wanted to essentially storytell into two buckets. One is to share with you that you're not alone. And number two are just some thoughts on how to turn the next few weeks into an opportunity. The other day, I was home with the kids, and we were cleaning out one of the areas in the den, and we came across a picture, and my kid said, "Oh, what's that?" And I looked at it, and it's the picture that brings me to tears instantly every time I look at it. And what it is it is a yellow pad piece of paper with a bunch of numbers on it, and it's framed in a gold frame. And my kid said, "What is that?" And I took a couple of deep breaths and I explained to my kids what it is. I said, in 1995, I was in my second year of law school. I was married, and I basically was at a breaking point where I was tapped out of money. And I wrote down a list of all the debt that I had, and I wrote down, what I owed to Con Ed and what I owed to credit cards, what I had to come up with for rent. And it wasn't big money. It was a couple $1,000s at the time in total. And I went to my dad and I showed him what my debt was. And he said, "Write down what you have in the bank." And I wrote down on this piece of paper, money in the bank, $33.67. And I remember breaking down because I didn't even have enough money for a roll of stamps to pay the bills, even if I had the money. And I guess my dad took that piece of paper. I don't even remember the whole incident. My dad took that piece of paper, and he had given me some funds to get me through, and I'd forgotten about that whole thing. And then obviously I graduated law school and went on to start a career. And it was only in the year 2007, I think the week after, that I sold Vintage Filings, which was a company that Shai Stern and I had built together. We had about 5,000 customers, public companies, about 110 employees, and we were bought out. We sold it to PR Newswire in April of 2007, and suffice it to say, it was a healthy exit, and I was very excited to share the news with my father. And then one day, he pulls out this piece of paper, which I had no idea that he had saved over the years. And he dated it October 1, 1995, and signed it. And he gave it back to me as a reminder of where I came from, that at one point I didn't have enough money to pay for a roll of stamps. And here we were, many years later, that I had, thank God, sold my first company. And I break down every time that he had enough faith and belief in me to save that piece of paper and to date it and to sign it, knowing that one day he was going to give it back to me to show me what I was capable of. And I'm still brought to tears every time I look at this frame and this piece of paper. And I feel like I felt like at the time that I was the only one going through this. And I look around now, and we are all going through an, a unique time of not just health and medical and emotional um, unknowns, but for purposes of discussion today, the financial unknown of our businesses, of our careers. And so you are not alone. We are all in this together, and we each have our own struggles, and we're each being impacted in a different way.